attended two football teams for a reason, I believe. They got a great football team. Coach Ken does a heck of a job scheming you up. They did a heck of a job coaching. Sometimes you can have too much time on your hands trying to defend all the stuff they did. And they did a lot of different stuff today. Offensively for Navy, and they made plays that we didn't. And then on the other side of the ball, we didn't get started. Quadri takes a kickoff for a touchdown, started off, and then you feel like you got the momentum, and you start fast, and we just couldn't get anything going in the first half offensively. We started to get things going in the second half, but missed field goal and 3 interceptions, you're not going to win many football games.
All right, everyone, we'll take some questions now.
Please use the microphone and identify yourself before you ask a question.
I got you, Sam.
Sam Warner with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Was it, you mentioned over-preparedness. I mean, that was the case against the option?
It always can be a case. I mean, sometimes you can, overanalyze stuff and, felt like we played a Georgia Tech team better, but, they did some different stuff. I mean, they probably watched that Georgia Tech, game 150 times and saw some things they liked. And, you can't prepare for stuff you don't know is coming. And, we're just proud of these seniors, they worked their tails off, they never quit, and they continue to fight. And that's all you can ask for.
Rob Rossi, Pittsburgh Review. Pat, over here. What do you think the program needs now going forward to be more competitive in games like this, to win games like this?
Rob, we just got to keep getting one step closer. You like to have it on one. You like to be undefeated and go 13-0, and we got to take one step at a time. I told our seniors before the game that they've laid a foundation. We've done a lot of great things this year. Best conference record in school history. Our road record best since 2008. Overall record best since 2009, but we can't have it all at once. We'd like to have that, but we'll just continue to pound the rock and send these seniors off the right way here. And they're never gone. They're always with us. And they continue to bring in a new crew. So we'll keep getting one step closer.
Coach Paul Guggenheimer, WESA, right here. Talk about all the different looks that Navy gave you today. I mean, it was just a really varied bunch of offensive schemes.
Yeah, they did. They do a bunch of stuff now. Again, they have a little bit of time to prepare. Everybody's got time to prepare, but how often do you see Navy line up and empty? I mean, they lined up and empty one snap. They do a great job, Coach. Like I said, he's a heck of a person and a great football coach. There's a reason they've won 10 games.
Rich Walsh, KDK TV. Pat, just talk about defending Keenan Reynolds and how dynamic that guy is and what he was able to do out there today.
He's a super football player. And again, make no mistake, there's a reason he was in the finals for the Heisman. I think he rushed for a touchdown. I think he threw for a touchdown. I think he caught a heck of a pass, on a quarterback throwback. I mean, he just did a nice job.
Pat, Jeff Hathorn from KDK Radio right down here in front. You mentioned the seniors. What was the buy-in that you got from this group, and what did that mean to you during the season?
You know what? I love these guys. I mean, there's 12 of them, I believe, and they fought. They fought their tails off. They believe in what we're doing. They've gone through a lot. They've been through a lot of football coaches and different terminology and schemes and offenses and defenses, and they bought in right away. So I think there's a ton of love with that senior class as well as our football team, and that's only going to make us better. So these guys, every day came to work. They led, and unbelievable guys.
Pat, Jerry DePaul at Pittsburgh Trib. Was your passing game going out of sync today, Pat, with 3 interceptions and some other drops?
Yeah, I mean, try to think of them all. Got it written down. One, Tyler Boyd falls down, I think, before the half. But I think the first 2, maybe weren't Nathan's fault. And, it always takes 11 out there. But, I think 2 in the first half. We had some drop passes as well, third downs. But, it's all part of it.
Over here on the right, guys, Jason Mackey, PK PittsburghSports.com. James Conner being out there for the coin toss, him being around you guys all week on the sidelines today. What did that mean to, I guess, the 3 of you, and what went into sending him?
Every year we have, every week we have an honorary captain, and James was, our guy for this week. I just thought where he came from, and the battle he's still, fighting right now. His battle's not over; it's just begun. And he's got a lot of fight to go. He's a strong kid. To have him out there, the coin toss, I think meant a lot to these guys. I think they answer those questions better than me. with us all the time. And, you know, we want him around as much as we can.
Pat, how did you guys exceed any expectations you might have had in terms of season one this year?
You know, I don't know, Rob. You know, hard for me to answer the question. You know, anytime we lose a game, you know, we really didn't get where we wanted to go. But you know, I think we got better as a football program. And how do we do it with hard work? You know, coaches sticking together with the players, and the players sticking together with the coaches. And I think we got a great team cohesion, and continue to get better.
I'm Daryl, Dan Zosek from the Pitt News. How does Reynolds compare to the other triple option quarterbacks that you faced this year and in your career?
Well, you know, I've only faced two, so there hasn't been one I can't imagine. But you know, both are great football players. You know, he's dynamic. We'll watch the tape and find out if it's more him or more us. I think it's something on tape. It's so hard to see. They got so many different looks going on out there in the field. He made plays. I mean, he did a good job. You know, all around. I mean, we had linebackers decided Justin, and he turned back up inside. I mean, he's a fantastic football player.
Pat, Rich again. Do you think you're moving in the right direction? Do you think you guys are building something special after what you've done this year? I know it's a frustrating end to the season, but
it is. You know, I don't think there's any question. I mean, you guys can decide that. You can write what you want. I just know what we have in that locker room. And our players, you know, the guys in our locker room, in our team room, we know what we got. And we'll just continue to get better.
Coach Dave Preston, WTOP Radio in Washington. Obviously, the Navy option garners more than its share of headlines, but the midshipman defense, what did they do today, especially in the first half?
You know, they shut down our offense in the first half. So we'll go back and look at the tape. They made plays, and you know, we did. So there's just times we didn't convert what we needed. We'll look.
Hey, question for Artie and Daryl. I mean, I know this is so tough to end your career like this, but what does it sort of feel like when you took off that uniform for the last time? Is this just something that's over?
You know, it's the outcome wasn't what we wanted to be, but you know, it's something I'll have to live with. And, you know, Daryl and I, and the rest of the seniors will have to live with that for the rest of our lives. But, the good part is that Coach Narduzzi built a family and a team aspect, and we're not, you know, not part of this family anymore. You know, the family is just beginning. New guys coming in, but we're still in it. Like Artie said, it's kind of surreal for real. All the hard work that we put in as a family, like he said, just kind of makes us stronger and never want to leave Rock and Panthers.
For both players, I mean, there's a lot of questions to coach about the future. Obviously, you guys are moving on, and it didn't end the way you wanted. But I mean, did this year as a whole, did it feel different to you guys? I mean, did the program feel different as you went through this season?
Well, I think Coach Narduzzi did a great job of bringing us together and making this more family-oriented group. And just the hard work and dedication we have, he didn't feel like we want to leave anybody behind or anybody down. So, again, I feel like it was great.
Daryl, if you could, over here, if you could describe just how complex and how tough it was defending Keenan Reynolds and how tough of an option that was for you guys.
Well, he's a great quarterback. You tell him in the system, he knew what he was doing. He made perfect reads and he made plays. You got to go back and watch him and see what he did and clean it up. But you definitely see what he needed to see and made big plays. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Pittsburgh will have additional interviews outside